Hello, Rotarians and guests. Welcome. Folks, come on in. We're about to get started here. Welcome to the Rotary Club of San Jose and meeting number 5,512. And of course, we're trying to get, here we go, excellent. So welcome everyone, come on in, take your seats. Got a good show ahead of us for today. My name is Matt Breaker, and I have the honor and privilege of, folks, we're getting going. My name is Matt Breaker. I have the honor and privilege of leading our meetings in our club for this Rotary year. So welcome everyone. We've got a packed agenda and some good things. So come on in and settle down and settle into your seats, please. I want to start by saying thank you to today's greeting line, which was the Neurodiversity Committee, which we heard from recently, led by Deanna and David. So thank you to them. Let's give it up for the Neurodiversity Committee. And of course, it's the first meeting of the month, so that means we got several things that are happening. And wow, Bert George, where is he? He's somewhere here. Knocked it out of the park with our, there he is with our charcuterie. These are delicious, right on point. And Bert, you do it every month. You're just fabulous. You know, what kind of person would lead the club and be handing out challenge coins and not be giving one to Bert George? So coming your way for everything. And I expect to see it on the desk when I'm next in that wine shop. So thank you, Bert, for all you do. You're wonderful, as we all know. So thank you. Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're here.
These get you in the mood, so I hope you're having one. Let's see, next we've got our traveling mics today. Today on the traveling mics, we have Ted Lopez and Peter Wade. Ted, where is Ted? Hello, Ted, welcome. Ted, who is your sponsor?
Deanna.
Oh, right on point, terrific. And how's it going? How's the settling into the club going?
Very well.
Okay, good. You're checking out some committee stuff. And Peter Wade is here, folks. Peter, welcome. Who is your sponsor?
Karen Sinanu-Towery.
Okay, terrific. Well, for those of you who haven't met Peter yet, Peter had a fabulous career, 30-plus years in the DA's office. And Peter, I don't know if you've known this because you just joined, but we've been doing a once-a-month true crime series. So something's telling me you've got a story or two, so we need to catch up on that because we'll get you up here at the mic for one of your cases. That would be good. We're going to do guest introductions. Can I have Rotarians with guests please stand, and we'll get the traveling mics to them for introduction. We'll try to start on this side to make it easy. Do we have Matt Robin here for duties? Oh my God, we do not. Okay, taking it right over here. Yes, hello Mike, hello.
Hello, President Matt. My sponsor is the great Mike Locke, and my guest today is Jody Merritt, who's going to be our guest speaker in a couple of weeks. Today she's the president of J.M. Asterix Advisors. And she's going to be talking about the Space Force in a couple of weeks. So we're lucky to have Jody here.
That is fabulous. Thank you. Okay. Dagmar, take it away.
Hello, President Matt. My name is Dagmar Schildbach. My sponsor is Richard Ajluni, and I'm happy to introduce my good friend, Edie Yao. I worked with her for 24 years at the Alzheimer's Association. She's the Senior Director of DEI Engagement, and she's also on the board of the San Jose Museum of Quilt and Textiles.
I love it. Well, welcome. That's terrific. Past President Carl
President
in the
Matt,
house.
I'm really excited to have Chris Roth. He's the former Mulcahy Chief of Staff, and now he's kind of concentrating on a Senate race here in the state of California.
There you go. Terrific. Well, welcome. Thank you. Sparky, great to see you.
Hi, President Matt. Good to see you. Jim Sparacco, Director of PR for the San Jose Sharks. My sponsor is Stu Gans, who's, I believe, is watching online right now. My guest today is Chris Shea, who is the Senior Vice President of Government Affairs for the Sharks.
Lovely. Chris, welcome. And very helpful in the Peace Monument, making it happen, so thank you for all your help with that. Are we going over to Karen Fox over there? No, we're not. We're
Johnny
Johnny,
Canis
hi,
here,
Johnny.
all the way back in the back, and
Hello, Johnny.
my sponsor with Catherine Tompkinson, and my guest today is our bank manager at Commercial Bank of California, Kim Leung. I'm hoping to attract her to come join us.
Welcome. So glad you're here. Karen Fox.
Hello, President Matt. My name's Karen Fox, and my guest today is John Air Bar, and John recently moved from New York, where he was president-elect of the Buffalo Rotary Club. He now serves as executive director of YMCA Silicon Valley, and it's his second meeting, and he's very interested in joining our club.
Let's make it happen. Rotary is in the blood. I love it. Welcome. Glad you're here. Jonathan, hello.
Hi, President Matt. My guest is Os Namadir. He is from the Guadalupe River Park Conservancy, and he's joining us today because we're looking to potentially do some really cool stuff with the Red Badge Committee Service Project to help refresh the play garden.
That is fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. I see Emily back there.
Hello, President Matt. Just in time here. I would like to introduce, well, first of all, Emily Rubalcaba from West Coast Community Bank. My sponsors were Sean Cottle and Sarjun Aron. And I would like to introduce my guest, Matthew Peralt from Armanino.
Well, welcome. Okay. All right, not seeing anyone else. Well, welcome to all of our guests, and thank you to the Rotarians who brought them. Got a great show for you, so I'm glad you're here to check us out, and please come back again and consider joining if you like what you see. One of our other traditions for the first meeting of every month, in addition to some great libations from Bert, is we've been partnering with CMT, the wonderful children's musical theater, and they are the recipient of donations giving in the name of each week's speaker, and we have a performer who comes each week, the first meeting of every month, to perform, and this month is no different. CMT's main stage production of the 25th annual Putnam Spelling Bee is now playing at the Montgomery Theater. Friday night is Rotary Night at the theater. If you come that night, you'll have a chance to see some fellow Rotarians get their chance to participate as guest spellers, so that should be fun. Today we're going to welcome Alex Fish, who is here to promote CMT's spring marquee production of Dear Evan Hansen. CMT is proud to be one of the first non-professional companies in the country that was granted rights to this moving piece. The show runs 2 weeks, from April 10th to the 18th. Alex will be making his CMT debut in this production in the title role. Please welcome Alex Fish, who is going to sing Waving Through the Window.
Learn to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I lead with the worst of me. Give them no reason to stare, no slipping up if you slip away. So I've got nothing to share, no, I've got nothing to say. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass. I'm waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear. So I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. I'm waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? Start with stars in our eyes. We start believing that we belong, but every sun doesn't rise, and no one tells you where you went wrong. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving when you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around? Do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound? Having technical difficulties. Please hold.
Alan Fitch, I'm so sad. I think, we're going to, okay. Please, true professional, wonderful show. Thank you so much. Alex, I will see you on Friday night. My wife and I, Sid, are going to the show. I hope some Rotarians will join us. And apologies, I don't know why that's happened, but was really enjoying the song. So thank you. Okay. It's March, folks, and March is Women's History Month. So, let's go, girls. That's Shania Twain, and I don't know if you folks have noticed it, but in past President Karen's monthly "Did You Know" series, there's been an undercurrent of women in Rotary, and it seems like the perfect opportunity with Women's History Month to do a little Rotary quiz about women in Rotary today. We're going to ask a few questions, see how much we've been listening to her, things we know on our own, and yeah, we'll be giving away some prizes. We've got the Rotary hat for folks, so we're going to go forward with a few questions. Please wait till the question is completed before raising your hand. Are we ready to go with our knowledge of women in Rotary? Here we go. Paul Harris founded Rotary in 1904. The success of Rotary is due in part to his beloved wife. Close, but no cigar. Oh my God, we've got. Oh my God, very disappointing. Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll wear the hat then. And the answer is Jean Harris. So with that, there's no chance you're going to get the bonus question, but let's give it a go. Bonus question is, what does it say on Jean's headstone in Edinburgh, Scotland? Answer, she hath done what she could. Perfect, perfect, perfect as it is. Okay, let's go on to another one. Maybe this will be a little easier. In 1986, a Rotary Club in California made this woman, who was mayor of a major California city, an honorary member. She joined as a dues-paying member in 1989 after the Rotary International decided to follow the Supreme Court mandate. She remained a Rotarian until her passing in 2023. Who is this politician? Steve Preminger, right here was first. Dianne Feinstein, outstanding hat coming your way. Okay, that's good, that's good. We've got one more for you. We're going to do it sprinkling through the month because it's a month-long celebration. Next one, we'll bring it home, bring it into the club here. So, our club has been in existence since 1914, and our foundation since 1946. Who is the only person to have served as both president of the club and president of the foundation? Oh my God. Right here, Mark McKenna, past president Karen Sinanu-Towery. Very nice. Historian, yes. Okay, folks. Okay. One of my favorite events, which I started going to a couple years ago, was the fish event. I hope folks know about that. So We're going to hear a little bit about that upcoming event. Please give it up for Todd Trickell, Chair of the Fish Committee. I love that song selection, of course. Todd, what was it?
Hunting and Fishing Every Day by Luke Bryan.
Nicely done. Take it away.
Thank you. Where's my video? Okay, right there. Wow. Okay, hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm about to show you a short 2-minute highlight reel from last year. But before, I know, I was trying to channel Brian Adams. But before I do, I'd like to thank Kaiser Permanente for sponsoring the 2026 Rotary Fish Day by making a contribution, and Jeffrey Poley for putting together this video. Watch the faces, watch the smiles, watch the connections. It is because of this is Rotary at its best, with mud on its boots and sometimes water in its shoes. Does it play? Is anything playing? No.
One more time.
Oh,
There we go.
do we have volume? What do you guys think? So not only do we teach third graders how to fish, we teach them 4-letter swear words as well. So Rotary Fish Day registration is officially open on Saturday, April 25th from 7, oh, thank you. Oops, hold on, is that up? Yeah, there we go. From 7 a.m. till 1 p.m., we will host 125 local third graders at Sandy Wool Lake for a morning of fishing, mentorship, and outdoor learning. We need about 75 volunteers. No experience required, all equipment provided. This is a good thing. Coffee and donuts in the morning, tri-tip lunch prepared by the executive chefs at the end. You can serve as a fishing buddy or help with registration and general support. New members in our club, this is a great opportunity to plug in. And so if you're looking, if you're looking for a way to plug in, this is it. Spouses and kids 16 and older are welcome. The link is live, and we'll be signing people up in the lobby for the next month. Because for some of these kids, this could be the best day of their year. Whether you stay dry or end up with some water in your shoes, this is a great opportunity for us to come together as a club and support some incredible third grade students in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you for your leadership on this. It's getting it all together is a lot of work, so to Todd and the Fish Committee, thank you. If you haven't been out before, as Todd said, you don't need any experience. It truly is a wonderful morning out there. You're enjoying the company of the kids, mentoring them, and then fellow Rotarians, so I encourage folks to sign up. I'll be there, and I hope to see you there as well. Okay, next up, we've got, the blind wine tasting. Here we go. That's Neil Diamond, Red Wine. Show some love to the chair, Elizabeth Monley. Come on up. She's going to talk about this annual event, which is always great and put on by the Culinary and Hospitality Committee. Take it away, Elizabeth.
Sing me on.
I'm going to take one more for you.
Thanks. Well, blind wine tasting is back again. Joseph George Fine Wines is once again opening the shop for an evening of discovery for 60 Rotarians and their guests. Past President Burt George will comb through his cellars and pull out some real gems for us to taste. There's a catch, though. We won't know what they are. And we'll be charged with gathering into teams to do our best to identify these fabulous wines. Prepare to be stumped, because Bert will challenge even the most astute enophiles to name each and every selection, and he sure has fun with that, Bert. There's always a winning team, the one that comes closest to naming all. The Culinary and Hospitality Committee will be serving delicious bites designed to pair perfectly with these delicious wines, and because that's what we do. The blind wine tasting supports the Any Living Thing projects of the Brit George Foundation, and this year's selection is under consideration to be named in the near future. You'll be delighted you participated in all the fun, and all for this special service above self. Act fast, really, because only 60 guests will be able to participate, and it always sells out. Starting today, we have a table in the lobby to sign up. Build your teams now or join a team at the event. Location is the Joseph George Fine Wine Shop, and we all know where that is. The date is April 9th from 5:30 to 7, and tickets are $100 each. You may also make an additional gift to the Brit George Foundation if you wish, and we'll see you there.
Okay, always a great event. As she said, great food, great company, so hope to see you all there. And no one knows anything about wine, so don't let that be the inhibition. Okay, next up. It's that time again, folks. We haven't spun this little wheel in a while, and those of you who were not here when we did it before, here's what we do. So, Marie and I, I didn't have it done previously. Marie and I, as folks came off the elevator, we started taking down names. So if you arrived early, you're on the list. If you arrived late, you're probably not on the list. I've got 24 names here. We're going to spin the wheel, see who comes up, and the name of the game is who gets to be a generous Rotarian. So what are we going to spin the wheel for? I'm thinking we're going to spin the wheel for $1,000 today. And just as a reminder, folks, a couple things. The money goes right to the endowment, which means you are truly a generous Rotarian. Sensing fear in the audience. Just relax, it's for fun, folks. Payment plans, don't worry. Your flight coach on your next travel. So let's spin the wheel. Let's see who's a generous Rotarian. Folks, you had to be in the first half an hour to be on the list. Let's see what we've got here already. Okay. $1,000. Generous Rotarian for the month of March. Rachel Thomas! Where's Rachel Thomas? There we go! Now, I have to say, that's nice. Rachel, it's been quite a month for you. That's exactly right. Speaking of it, stuck in the elevator and without a pin on that day. So please tell me on this day that you are the genderfritarian. You've got the pin on. Oh, thank goodness we do not have to double our amount. But your generosity, you've already been a generous Rotarian, so thank you so much for your generosity in wallet, spirit, and time. As I said, it's going to go right back into the community to do good work. So let's give it up for Rachel Thomas. Okay, we got a few announcements. I mentioned last week that this is the final week to apply to be on the committee for the next big project. As I've said before, our club justifiably is very proud and talks about some of the amazing things we've done in the community, leading off with, of course, the play garden, and a few years ago with the Rotary Health Mobile. But we're ready to do something else big in the community. So we're putting together a committee that is going to come up with the idea of what should be our next big project. It's going to have a past president from the club, a past president from the foundation. Leslie's going to be on it, and that's 6 members. Field ideas, discuss them, see what fits, see what would be great for the community and great for our club. So please, online application, I urge you to check that out. Also, folks, the Rotary International Convention is happening June 13th to June 17th. President-elect Tim is going to Taipei, Taiwan. Where is Tim? He's somewhere around here. Yes, and it's going to be a great event. Last year, we were at the Calgary, and I'm telling you what makes it super fun is if Rotarians join Tim at that event. It's a great chance to mingle, but it's a great social opportunity for Rotarians. And I think we have some folks who are already signed up to go. I know oh, I've got 10 folks already going. So I encourage you folks, check it out. Great city to check out. It's a great time with Rotarians. So please check into that. A couple other announcements. We got the Gal on the 28th. I think we've got 20 seats left. So if you haven't signed up for that, do that. April 25th, as we said, is the Fish Day. And if it isn't on your calendar yet, please get it there. May 13th is the spring barbecue at History Park with the Rotary Barbecue and the group that will be grilling and drinking and having a grand old time. Next week, our speaker is Colin Hartigan, co-founder of Chaps Lab from ELC, one of our own, to successful entrepreneur, founder, and technology investor. That sounds very interesting. But today, the main attraction is actually a legend. Dan Rusanowsky is here, and to introduce him is going to be none other than Larry Stone. So show some love to Larry, please.
All right. You guys never forget, do you? You know, my dad used to say, there are 2 religious holidays in the Stone family, the opening day of baseball and Election Day. That's when I developed my love for sports and politics. For those of us who are sports advocates, or in some cases, fanatics, we never forget the legends of sport. Willie Mays, Joe Montana, Brandy Chastain. But over the years, we have probably developed just an enduring relationship with legendary sports broadcasters as well. Vin Scully, John Madden, Bob Costas, Howard Cosell. Yes, Howard Cosell. Our speaker today, Dan Rusanowsky, is in his 35th consecutive season as the voice of the Sharks, a 46-year veteran of hockey broadcasting at all levels. He was awarded the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award, which recognizes distinguished members of Rotary and television industry for outstanding contributions to their profession, most importantly, and to their game. Dan's resume also includes television broadcasting in auto racing and the San Jose Earthquakes. And most importantly, I think, to him at least, Bay Area Hall of Fame as the most popular broadcaster in Bay Area sports. Please welcome Dan Rusanowsky.
Wow, Larry. Let's give it up for Larry. There you go. Out of all the introductions I've ever had, Larry, that was definitely one of them. I also would like to say something to Larry that I don't think has been said in over 4 decades, and that is thank you for the assessment. We are really pleased to be here at Rotary, and I've been here a number of times over the years, but it is really an exciting time for the San Jose Sharks, for the organization, and I think that we're on similar paths to the city of San Jose. It's on the up and up. A lot of great things are happening with the team, but a lot of great things are happening with this city, and I think it goes hand in hand with the development of where we're going. Let me tell you a little bit about some things that are going on business-wise before we get to the total hockey analysis, and that is that we, over the next 5 to 7 years, if you haven't heard, are going to undergo a major reimagination of what's going on over at SAP Center. And by the way, it's not a renovation, it's a reimagination. Very important to understand that. It's more than a $500 million construction project that will reimagine all of the levels and spaces for SAP Center to keep us competitive with all of the brand new buildings that we have, to get all of the best events in the world to come right here to San Jose, not just the San Jose Sharks. And we're very mindful of that. We want to be good neighbors. We have an unbelievable owner in Hasso Plattner who has put more money into maintaining the building than it actually cost to build way back in the 1990s. By the way, how many of you were actually living in the Bay Area in the late 1980s and 1990s? Now keep your hands up. How many voted against the building? See, no, but nobody voted against it, right? But it was only 51 to 49. I remember those days. And nobody wants to admit that they voted against one of the greatest assets that downtown San Jose has. Not just the hockey team, but also the great facility. And that's what this reimagination is all about. It's part of a lease extension deal that brings the Sharks to San Jose downtown until the year 2051, when I will be 91 years of age. Hopefully I can still take my walker and get up to the broadcast booth at that point. But let me tell you something, that is really, really important. And what else it's important to show is the leadership we have in this community. Not only with all of you here in the business community, with our leadership in City Hall, with Mayor Mahan, with Pam Foley, and with Lee Wilcox, and with Jennifer McGuire, and all of the city council members who voted unanimously to make this massive deal work. And part of that was because our owner, Hasso Plattner, has guaranteed $100 million of his own money as part of this project, and he has guaranteed all the cost overruns, which, as you know, in California do tend to happen every once in a while. Some of the construction has already begun. These work will be done in phases, and I have to tell you, this is really exciting. I remember going to Madison Square Garden in New York over the last few years when they reimagined their building, and they had to actually do a full change to the way they looked, staying open with Penn Station just below them. So we don't have that many challenges, but there are challenges, obviously, to do this, and we're going to stay open. We're going to stay relevant as far as a facility is concerned beyond the San Jose Sharks. But you might occasionally see a slight disruption to one or two things, but most of the work is going to be done in the off-season. And I think most of the real big work is going to be done in 27 and 28. And this is going to be including areas outside SAP Center, including the Arena Green, and we've renamed one of the buildings Sharks or Road Sharks Way. And we've also got a partnership with the Guadalupe River Park Conservancy to make capital improvements to the Arena Green with new trees and so forth. I think it's going to be, you know, with a planned media or entertainment district around the building down the line. I think that we are making downtown San Jose even a greater destination and making Sharks games even more fun. But what we also have is we have to remind everybody that in that process, but also with the way things are going for the team, we're selling out most of our games once again. We're at or near capacity. We've done that over the last number of games, and we need to rethink how we attend games. So a little bit of business before I start talking about the team. Get your tickets early, that's number one. Most home games are going to be selling out all the way through. Get there early. You have to get there early to watch the warm-ups, right? Absolutely. So make sure you get there in plenty of time to get your seats. All right, enough of that business. Now let's get to the business of hockey. We have won 3 games in a row. They timed it perfectly for my speech today. I think that right now is an ideal time. By the way, how many people have never been to a Sharks game? Be honest. 1, 2, 3. Back in the old days, when I first got here in 1991, most of the crowd would raise their hand. Now, things have changed, and San Jose really is a hockey city. But all of you people that raised your hand just now, I want to tell you that I envy you. Why do I envy you? because I know what it's like to come to SAP Center for the first time to see a Sharks game. And when you come, whether you know anything about the game or not, it will captivate you. It will captivate you for the grace and the beauty and the artistry of the players, the speed at which that they play the game, the physical nature of the game. It is a man's game. And all of those things combine to make it what I think is the greatest sport in the world, in what I think is one of the greatest cities in the world. So I think that that's something that's extraordinarily special. Our general manager, Mike Greer, who played a number of seasons as a Sharks player, knows a lot of this history. And when he became the general manager of the team, he had a tough job. He had to deconstruct the roster because in the world of a salary cap in the NHL, the only way you can really build your team is to get a group of young core players together that are going to be around for a long time. And we went through that back in the late 1990s when we drafted Patrick Marleau, who I think one day is going to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame, over 500 goals, over 100 game winners, and one of the greatest players ever to play. He's played more games than anybody in NHL history, mostly 20 years in San Jose as a member of the Sharks, now part of our organization. Drafted him in 1997, along with another guy that I worked with on the air last night named Scott Hannon, a defenseman who played over 1,000 games in the NHL, much of it for the Sharks. And that started that core group together. It took a while. At that time, Dean Lombardi, who was the general manager of the team, surrounded those young players with veterans who were good character people and who would teach these guys how to be pros and also how to live with the ups and downs of an 82, soon to be 84 game schedule that the team has to go through with all of the travel and all of the challenges. Well, we have the same thing going on today with Mike Greer. The only way to do it was to make a couple of tough trades, but make sure that he had a scouting staff together to draft well with good, solid draft picks. And over the course of the last couple of years, we have put together, I think, the best young group of prospects, and now they're becoming stars in the game today. I don't have to tell you anything much about Macklin Celebrini unless you've never heard of his name yet. He's 19 years of age, and I'm telling you right now, we had Patrick Marleau, we had Joe Thornton for many, many years, and Joe Pavelski and Logan Couture, all super players. Joe Thornton currently in the Hall of Fame, and maybe a couple of others are coming soon. We have never, ever, ever seen anything like this, ever, in the history of our franchise. And, you know, back in the old days, the league wasn't very kind to us. They didn't give us very good draft positions, didn't have good expansion drafts like they've had in Vegas and in Seattle, and soon to be a couple of other teams. So we had to kind of slog through things. But let me tell you that the support of the community, but also these veteran players that we ended up having surrounding some of these young kids are really important. But Macklin Celebrini is somebody that right away at age 19, right now is one of the best players in the National Hockey League, the best league in the world. He's right in the top 4 in the league in scoring, had 4 points last night in the big victory against Montreal, which, you know, that gets a lot of attention north of the border when you beat the Canadians like that. And he also is somebody that is as dedicated to the defensive part of hockey of anybody that age that I've ever seen. Everybody likes to score goals, right? You know, Pete Stemkowski, my old broadcast partner, used to say, hey, he used to say, goal scorers drive Cadillacs and everybody else drives a Ford or a Volkswagen. Well, this guy plays all ends of the ice. He cares about his teammates. He has he's got leadership written all over him. One day, not yet, but one day, I see him being captain of this team. We don't have a captain right now. He's certainly starting to earn that title, but he hasn't gotten it yet, and that'll happen at some point. We've also got Will Smith, age 20. Every Batman needs a Robin, right? Well, these two guys were arch rivals. Macklin played at Boston University. Will Smith played at Boston College. They had a lot of hatred for each other in those Beanpot tournaments in Boston in February. But now they're the best of friends, certainly. They have so much in common. And I think that was really important. They both came out of college the same year, after 1 year of college hockey. And they ended up being in this situation together. And I think that that's important. And that was what Mike Greer, our general manager, wanted. He wanted young players with great talent, with tremendous character, with a real will to win, to be the core players on this team. So Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith were kind of the start of that. But now we have last night, in the last couple of games, a young 18-year-old named Michael Misa, who was one of the best players in junior hockey, scored the game-winning goal in overtime against Winnipeg. And so it's only been a handful of instances in the last 40 years in which 2 teenagers have scored overtime goals in the same year for a team. We have Celebrini scoring 1. We have Misa scoring 1 now. This kid he's a lot like Patrick Marleau, in my opinion. The type of personality that he is, unassuming, quiet, nice kid, works hard, wants to be a good teammate, and takes care of himself exceedingly well. And he's got great speed and an amazing shot, and that's what we saw the last couple of days. More players under the age of 23. Sam Dickinson, 19 years of age, having to develop at the NHL level. This is not a development league. You have to perform every day. And I think that the organization's done a really good job with all of these guys to work with them into little aspects of their game. Hard as it is to believe that Macklin Celebrini needs to improve anything, he still does. He has lots of things he wants to work on. Every single one of the guys I've mentioned are all exceedingly coachable. And so that is also really important. Colin Graff, 23 years of age. He was signed as a free agent out of Quinnipiac University, which is my old stomping ground in the state of Connecticut. He is an outstanding skill player, but he plays with speed and he plays with grit. And he kind of reminds me of a young version of Logan Couture, our former captain. And if he is anything close to that in his career, we've got a lot of special things to enjoy. William Eklund, only 23 years of age. I think he got motivated this year when he wasn't selected for the Swedish Olympic team. And he's going to represent his country at that level at some point in time. He's somebody that makes other people better around him. And in fact, on a lot of the plays, he's the guy that does some of the dirty work. Just recently, on a goal by Kiefer Sherwood, who we'll get to in a second, he was the guy who won the battle to get him the puck. And that's the kind of a thing that you need. Here's one of my favorite names for broadcasting on the air, Shakir Mukhamadullin. He's from Ufa, which is in central Russia. And he is somebody that we acquired in a big trade with the New Jersey Devils. He's 24 years of age, so he's kind of at the top end of it. Another young defenseman that's learning how to be a National Hockey Leaguer. Just scored a winning goal recently against Edmonton. Yaroslav Askarov, goaltender, drives the coaches crazy because he likes to go out of the net and handle the puck just like Artur Zerbe used to do. This guy's got all kinds of ability and skill. He's going to be a great goaltender for a long time. Still in the learning curve. It takes goalies a little longer to get to the top of their game. I don't think I ever remember a 19-year-old goalie that was at the top of his game. This guy is 23. He'll be 24 this year, and he is somebody that's also very special. We have another team, too, with the San Jose Barracuda playing over at TechCU Arena, thanks to our great partners, TechCU, who not only are the naming rights partner for that building, but also are heavily involved in the Sharks Goals for Kids program in the foundation in the community. We really appreciate what they do. And young players in that organization like Igor Chernyshov and Quentin Musty and Casper Halton and Joshua Ravensbergen, not here yet, a young goaltender that's still in junior, and a whole bunch of other guys that aren't even here yet that Mike Greer has put together with the team. So we're on our way with this young group, but you have to have guys with experience to play with them. We've been very fortunate in that Patrick Marleau and Joe Thornton are part of the organization. And so Joe Thornton, first overall in his draft year, has Macklin Celebrini, first overall in his draft year, living at his house. So he gets to be the beneficiary of Tabea Thornton's wonderful cooking, number one. But number two, he also is learning all about the off-ice life of a Hall of Fame level player, which continues even after Joe Thornton's career is over. Same thing with Will Smith. He's living with Patrick Marleau. Patrick Marleau kind of grew up in a way in the shadow of Joe Thornton, who was the first overall pick in the draft, in the Hall of Fame now. Patrick, second overall in the draft. Will Smith, kind of that Robin to Batman. And I think Marleau, such a great pro, has been a great host. But we've also got Tyler Toffoli, a Stanley Cup champion with Los Angeles. You can save your booze for later because he's with us now. And he is somebody who I think has taken Michael Misa under his wing. So we have this kind of pipeline with the veteran players working with the kids. And what they see is, number one, how hard all of those guys have worked. Number two, how devoted to their families they are and what a great life they live off the ice and how responsible they are with their children. And that gives them something to really look up to. A couple of other notes. Alex Wenberg played for the Swedish Olympic team this year, signed a 3-year extension to stay with the club. We're very happy about that. And today we just signed Kiefer Sherwood to a 5-year extension after acquiring him from the Vancouver Canucks. And That's a big bit of news. I think that these guys, and another guy, Alex Nedeljkovic, a backup goaltender too for our team, is a veteran guy that's helping Yaroslav Askarov as a goalie, but also pushing him hard. He wants to play too, so he provides competition. So what we have is we have depth, we have internal competition, and we have some of the most talented players in the game today. And I think that that's certainly reflective of the exciting crowds that we've had to come to watch these guys play. And that also translates over to the Barracuda too, at the AHL level, the American Hockey League, because again, we have depth-filled people. If you are new to the game and you want to check it out, and you want to have an affordable, exciting, and very entertaining place to see a game, check out the Barracuda over at TechSU Arena. It really is worth your time. I would like to talk a little bit about where we're going and what's happening here. Right now, we're not in the playoff spot. We haven't been in the playoffs since 2019, when the Sharks went to the conference final. That was kind of the last gasp of pushing as hard as we could at the end of Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau's tenures in the NHL. And so then the rebuild had to happen. We've gone through it. We're not done with it yet. We're still acquiring new assets, but we're really very excited about these young players that I talked about. Now let's listen to this. We have 3 wins in a row, right, on this 6-game homestand. We beat Edmonton 5-4. That was a thrilling game, and we were scared for a while because you got guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on that team that are superstars, among the best in the game. Macklin Celebrini on our side, and we ended up squeaking out a win. Out of the 13 total points that were scored in that game by the Sharks, 7 of them were by people under the age of 24. Then we have a 2-1 squeaker against Winnipeg on Sunday, overtime. Michael Misa, game winner, 18 years of age. 6 out of the points that were scored, actually all 6 points that were scored in that game by the Sharks were by people under 24. And in the extravaganza we had last night against Montreal, 4 goals and 6 assists, 10 points out of 16 points total scored by the team were scored by players under the age of 24. We have a lot of exciting things going on around here. And I think that the happiest people for these young players are the veteran players. They're really enjoying it. And I think it's going to make this city a real destination for a lot of people, because the Sharks are set for, I think, certainly up the middle at center for the next 10 years with these guys that we have on this team. So it's exceedingly interesting to see where the team is going. However, we're 4 points out of a playoff spot, last count. It's not an easy league. Nobody feels sorry for you. And we're just getting right now into the real grind. We had an Olympic break. 4 of our players played in the Olympics, Macklin Celebrini being the most prominent one. Think about it. This kid's 19, and he went to play with Connor McDavid, with Nathan McKinnon, with Sidney Crosby. These are some of the best players of all time against the best players in the world, best on best, and he was one of the top players in that tournament. I mean, that's just, to me, that's just wildly amazing. And as I said before, we have never seen anything quite like this in the Bay Area in the history of hockey in this area. And that goes back, all the way to the Seals, certainly, into the old Bay Area, the old San Francisco Seals that won a couple of Western League championships. We've never seen anything like this. So enjoy it while you can. What does a hockey team need to bring to a community? Before I take your questions, I want to talk a little bit about that. And that is, you take a look at all of these 4-way tests. I think that a lot of those principles apply to what we're trying to get from Sharks players. Do they tell the truth? Is it fair to all people? Do they make other people better? All of those things that you talk about that apply. And I think it's really important to note that we want to be good community representatives when we go out on the road, because we want to give an effort that you can be proud of on the ice, but off the ice we also want to represent the community when we go to other places and carry that patriotic flag of San Jose. And I remember when I first came here, I grew up in Connecticut, and I was so excited to get my opportunity to come to the National Hockey League. We were playing in the Cow Palace. I thought it was the greatest place in the world because it was the National Hockey League. And when I made a speech to the Rotary that year, I think I got some of those same type of reaction. But we look back on those years with a tremendous amount of just joy and love and great nostalgia. But I would go around the league, and people would say to me, they would say, "Is San Jose near San Diego?" Where is it? I don't know. Or they would say, we'd have Mike Ricci on our team, who's still with the organization. They go, oh, that's where he's playing. I didn't know what happened. I thought he retired 4 years ago. What we're starting to see now on the East Coast especially, because a lot of teams are in that Eastern time zone, that a lot more people are going to work bleary-eyed these days because they're staying up a lot later at night to watch the San Jose Sharks, or hopefully, from my view, listen to them on the radio somewhere while I put them to sleep. The business of radio has really changed too, and also the way that we attract customers. Back then we had two groups that basically attracted us, or attracted to the team, especially in the Cow Palace years. We had what we called Seals Pups. These were kids that grew up in the Bay Area, and they went to see the California Golden Seals, making me very jealous because they could see Bobby Orr and Bobby Hull play for $10. And they loved the game. They had fun, even though the Seals didn't win much, and then they left. But they grew up, they became very successful in Silicon Valley, and then the Sharks came to town, and they said, you know what, I had a lot of fun, I'm going to buy tickets. And they were among our most rabid fans in the early years, and they're starting to, as they say, age out now, but there are still a lot of them that are around, and they still really love our team. Then we had the second group of people that didn't know a lot about hockey, and we called these people, many like most of us today, South Bay Patriots. We were people that were sick and tired of being called a suburb of San Francisco, and we were sick and tired of being treated as if one city in the Bay Area was Dallas and we were Fort Worth. And I think that those people said, we are going to support the San Jose Sharks and the National Hockey League because this is the first major league or organization that put its arms around San Jose and respected San Jose for who it is and who they are. And we're going to support the team just because of that, and I don't know anything about hockey. Well, it didn't take long before they had that reaction that I just talked about that I envy from the people who hadn't seen the game. They fell in love with the game. And today they are what I call the Valley of Hearts Delight people in San Jose. Now you have that group too. You have the Valley of Hearts Delight and you have the Silicon Valley San Jose types. But you've also got now new people. I go on the road now to Salt Lake City, and I see it's one of the issues that we have as a business. You go to Salt Lake City, and I see all these people with Sharks jerseys on. And they're all like 25, 35 years old. I go, well, what's going on? I mean, you guys, did you follow us from Utah, or what's happening? They say, oh, no, we grew up in the Bay Area. Well, we can't afford to live here yet. So now the question is, from our business perspective, who is here? Who can afford to come to a game? Who does live in the Bay Area? And many of them come from areas that don't have a hockey tradition. So in some sense, we're doing some of the same things that we were doing back in 1991 to 93. We're introducing those folks to the game. We're making them feel part of our community, and we're saying, welcome, come. We want to teach you about the game. You're just like us. We may have differences in appearance and ethnic background and language and a whole political party, whatever, but this is a place where we can bring everybody together. How important is that in today's culture? I think it's gigantic. Don't you? Well, that's what the San Jose Sharks want to do, and we have worked closely with a lot of different communities, and it's not patronizing. We want to make sure, because obviously we're in business, we want them to be customers, but we also want to make sure that everybody, and I mean everybody, is welcome. That's the project that we call Teal Together. We are all Teal Together, and we have a motto, the future is teal, the future is getting a lot closer. And in Arturs Urbe, former great goaltender of the Sharks' words, every day that goes by is one day closer to the Sharks winning the Stanley Cup. He's right. This is how you have to look at it. Relating that to where San Jose is going as a city. I think both the city and the Sharks are on a path straight upwards. And I think together, we're much better than separate. I'm proud of the fact that I moved here to make this area my home, and I certainly found out a lot about that over the course of the last 35 years with so many friends here. Bert George is here, Todd Treckel, John Ball, Elaine Sullivan-Digray. I mean, so many people that I see here today. Dan Orloff is here talking about the Grateful Dead. I mean, we've got everything here, and I'm telling people that not only back in the day they didn't know where San Jose was. Now they're staying up late to watch us, And now they know certainly that San Jose truly is the capital of Silicon Valley. Now, we still have some work to do with the networks. When the Sharks went to the Stanley Cup Final in 2016, and just a few weeks ago, when we had the Super Bowl here at Levi's Stadium in the South Bay, why is it that the networks are showing pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge? What the hell's going on? So we still have to educate them a little bit. We know that those things are pretty sexy, but I think if you take all of the greatest things that we have here, you can't beat this area. This is the best place to live in the world. I don't know what you think, but that's what I think. So with that, I would just like to say thanks for listening to us. Back in the day, you would try to twist the radio dial and find us in the Bay Area. You can still do that in parts of Northern California. But right here, this is the best way to find us. On our Sharks Plus SAP Center app, you open it up. You need them for your tickets anyway. Upper right-hand corner, there's a little live or listen button. You pop that on, goes on in your car. We have 24-hour-a-day programming, including classic games, a lot of interviews with our players. But when the games are on, certainly that's the most listenable time. All of our games are right there, and you can listen anywhere in the world. One thing we found out with the app is that we were able to, let's put it this way, we found out where people were listening because of the actual website locations. And we found out that some of the locations were, it was really strange. We had a lot of listeners at 5 in the morning. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? 5 in the morning, what time is it in Europe? Got a lot of players from Europe on our team. So we had people following our team. Again, the Sharks audio network is a way to follow us wherever you are. I've had emails or notes on Twitter from people in Taiwan and in Australia, people that are business people from this area said that they left the area, they're on business, and they really want to see what's happening with the team, and they're able to tune in. And it's my great pleasure to provide that picture for all of you, and especially for those who don't have the ability to see, to be able to hear the game and to be able to put that picture in your mind. And it's one of the reasons why radio, audio, if you'd like to call it that, is the most intimate form of communicating, because it's just you and me. Even though there may be hundreds of thousands of you in any particular game that might be listening, it's just you and me. Very intimate together, and we're talking about something, and it's a concept, it's an idea, and it's not lazy. You have to use your imagination, and to me, that's one of the greatest challenges of the job that I have. So with that, I thank you for your time today, but thank you. And
take a few questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to take a couple of questions if anybody has any, and I'd be happy to answer anything. So.
Can we get the traveling mics going? Got back here.
Sure.
Hi there. My name is Emily Robin. I have been a lifelong Sharks fan. My family shared season tickets. We were centerline row 20. Thank you for bringing garlic fries into our lives.
Nice.
I know that wasn't you personally, but I think that's another important thing the Sharks brought to us. I just wanted to do a little bit of a fact check. I think at the very beginning when you were talking, you said something about ice hockey being a man's game, and that's not true. Just wanted to say
Fair
that.
enough. Fair enough. That's fair enough, but you have to play a manly style of game if you're a lady. So it's definitely a physical game.
President-elect Tim Gill, right?
There we go, Tim. Oh, Tim. Hey, this guy's the man downtown right here, Tim.
Thank you, Dan. Hey, if you haven't been to a Sharks game, you're really missing out. The buzz in the arena is so exciting now. It's nice to see the Sharks are back. I think your app is awesome, but can't we get on the regular radio? Because you got stations on in Chico and all over Northern California. I would recommend that.
You're speaking to the choir on that one. We have since the pandemic really pushed digital broadcasting, and that's part of what the team had an initiative to do. It's not out of the realm of possibility that could happen, but at this point it hasn't yet. So stay with me.
Yeah. Good to see you again, sir. Thank you for being here with us. Just a quick story I want to tell you about what the Sharks mean when you hear at 5 a.m. My wife and I were in Vienna. That's in Austria, way down the line. And so we get in a cab, and the guy says, "Where are you from?" We go, "Well, we're from California." "Oh, good. We're in California." "Well, you haven't never heard of San Jose." "Sharks." That's my story. That's my story. That's how important.
It's a good story. Well, I mean, and that's what's happening now. I mean, you know, the lady that talked about women's hockey, I mean, that's a tremendous development too. The gold medal of the U.S. for both women and men. This is generating publicity for the sport, and by nature, San Jose gets more publicity as a result.
Yes. I went to that dump called the Cow Palace, where I saw Link Gates, where I went there to see a fight and a hockey team actually broke out, a hockey game broke out with Link Gates and all that. And one day, it rained. Thank God it was a hockey game because the roof leaked.
Yep, I remember that.
I have a question for you, though. Every time a new game comes to town, new team, how in the world do you memorize, come up with the names of these guys on the ice with the puck moving? That, to me, any other sports announcer, football, that's nothing. That's minor league compared to hockey. How do you do it, and what's the preparation to do that?
Well, with a name like Rusanowsky, it's kind of a sensitive area. I'm fortunate in that my family did come from Eastern Europe, so I have some knowledge of the Russian language. I can swear just like the guys in the locker room. And I have a sensitivity to that. So the one thing that you try to do, first thing you have to do is you have to be able to identify the players as the game is going on. And that's one of the greatest challenges. You also have to edit properly, because if I really tell absolutely everything, or if I try to do it, if you get a video with my audio, you probably will see that. But there are things that you do have to edit out on occasion, and that's happening on the fly. So unlike a writer who has a deadline at 10:30 for the Mercury News, I can actually say that my deadline is now. So what I try to do in the morning of the game is I look at the players and I give myself a quiz and I get familiar with the players' numbers and names together. Right when I'm in the booth before a game, I write down all of the numbers of the players I'm looking at, who's playing together, and the line chart that we put together for the team. And I actually quiz myself just before we go on the air. Then when they come on the ice for warm-ups, I mean, I'm on the air at that time, but on occasion we'll have, a commercial break or something, and I'm looking at players, especially in practice, and I'll see what they look like. Are they a left-handed shot? What kind of a stick do they have? What do they look like when they're skating? Because you don't always see their number, especially some of the uniforms in the NHL these days, which is a pet peeve. Or in the case of being in Edmonton, brand new building, lovely facility. It's in downtown Edmonton, and the broadcast booth is in Leduc, Alberta, which is about half an hour out. So you sometimes have to deal with that. But I will say that that's the way you do it. You do visual identification, and you say their name. And it's like if you write something down, you can remember it better. Same kind of an idea. If I say the name when I'm looking at the player, that's a way that I get familiar with them, and I get familiarized with their pronunciation. And that's something I take pride in.
Dan Rusanowsky, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, Bert's got one more.
Let me give you one more. Yes. So I actually don't have a question. I have a $2,000 comment. I'm going to give a couple grand here.
Wow.
When Dan was introduced, Larry said something about the Foster Hewitt Award. What people don't understand is that this man is in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Foster Hewitt was a famous broadcaster, and a little while back, Dan was introduced to the world and is in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I would like to give $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation, because you didn't spin my wheel, and $1,000 to the Sharks Foundation under Dan's name.
Wow. Thank you, Bert. Bert is a good friend. We've known each other for many years. His dad, Glenn, was one of the first people I met in San Jose amongst the business community. That was a memorable moment, by the way. For those of you who remember Glenn, he would come across as being sort of cantankerous, and he's one of the greatest people I've ever met, and same thing with Bert. I want to thank all of you business people that support our team, who listen on our Sharks Audio Network broadcast. Thank you for being there. Thanks for coming today, and let's go Sharks.
Thank you so much. Can we get a quick photo? Sure. Absolutely.
Get my ad-libs here.
All right, folks, we're going to head out with a little more Shania Twain, and with that, we'll call it this meeting a wrap. Thank you so much. See you next week. Here we go.